Hello and welcome to this virtual open day. Naturally, we were looking forward to welcoming you in person, but unfortunately that's not possible due to the situation we all find ourselves in. My name is Jason Lowther. I'm an associate professor in law here. I teach civil liability and environmental law. I'm also the associate head of school. I've been at Plymouth for the last 16 years. Prior to that, I was in the Midlands and in London doing a similar thing, but I fancied being back by the seaside and enjoying the quality of life down here. For this part, I'm going to introduce law at Plymouth and the general basics around the course. In the second part of this, I'm going to talk to you a little bit more in depth about the structure and the content of our programs. So first things first, when we think about a law degree, then it's going to be that we're all about going to be a lawyer. Yes, that may well be the case. Law is very broad in its approach. You know, you can be involved in the criminal side of things. It's quite easy to be involved in civil law. Civil law itself can comprise things as wide apart as contract or environmental law, the sorts of things that I'm involved in. Or it could also be things like civil liability, for accidents, it could be medical negligence, there could be all manner of things that you could get interested in and take further into a legal career. But saying that, you know, if you do go into a legal career, then there's choices that need to be made in that respect too. And our degrees are constructed so that that can be part of what is open to you. So if, say, for example, you wanted to be a solicitor, which is what most people that do qualify as a lawyer go in to be, then you would take the 3-year law degree, you would take a professional examination, more to that in a bit, and would undertake a traineeship as a trainee solicitor for a couple of years, and then you would be a fully fledged solicitor. For a barrister, a similar thing applies in terms of the fact that you need a 3-year qualifying law degree, you need a bar professional training course to take that for a year, and then you need pupillage. So to come back to this, at the moment, the Solicitors Regulation Authority, which is the body that regulates solicitors in England and Wales, requires that you take what's called a legal practice course to satisfy the professional aspect of their training. That's going to change. It's going to become the solicitor's qualifying exam. That should have been in already. It should have been in this year, but it's not. It's been delayed for a little bit. But we've designed our course so that it fits both, so that it can help you in terms of preparing for the legal practice course, and then also it can help you in terms of the competencies required for the solicitor's qualifying exam. It is possible, as it says, to qualify with a non-qualifying law degree, but to do that you would need to have a degree in the first place and then also to get a graduate diploma in law. We no longer take that route at Plymouth anymore. Of course, law is perceived quite rightly to be quite a tricky degree that provides you with a lot of very useful transferable skills that then transfer over to other professional jobs and professional settings. And so on the slide here is a list of various different fields that some of our students have gone into. Some of our recent graduates have gone into these areas. So, you know, a couple of my recent graduates have gone to work for the Environment Agency. One of them has gone to work for an environmental non-governmental organisation, campaigning for things to do with environment measures and providing legal advice along the way. We've been lucky that some of my former students are now some of my colleagues in terms of the fact that they've chosen to do an academic route and come into teaching and higher education, which again, it's something that is open to you beyond just what a law degree can do in terms of being a practicing lawyer. The degrees we offer, all of which are qualifying law degrees, so to enable you to tick off those requirements for being a solicitor or a barrister, are the LLB Honours Law, which is just law, does what it says on the tin, and the LLB Honours Law with Criminology and Criminal Justice. Like I said, both of these are qualifying law degrees. The difference with the criminal justice one is that you get a flavour of some sort of criminal justice theory in this as well. We ask for between 104 to 120 points or equivalent to get onto the course. If everything goes horribly wrong, which we very much hope it doesn't, or if somebody's coming from a non-traditional A-level background, for example, then we do offer the LLB Honours with Foundation Year. The LLB with Foundation is a 4-year course, and so the first year will be spent getting you up to speed to the degree that we want you to be able to then enter our first year. And so if you pass that Foundation year, you enter our first year. The points tally for this is lower at 32 to 48 points, or the equivalent in other recognised qualifications. So why would you want to choose Plymouth? There's a lot out there in the market. We appreciate this. And so we're just focusing on two particular things really in terms of our reputation and also the excellence in the teaching that we provide our students and the background to that. We've been consistently ranked as one of the top modern universities, top 6 modern universities. That's post 1992. We're within the top 20 for sustainability. We've been awarded these things. I'm not going to read them all out, but we've been awarded these things, as you can see, by a variety of external bodies. We were ranked at 2nd in the UK in terms of young global universities, and we get there or thereabouts 90% student satisfaction every year in the NSS, the National Student Survey, which to us is important because we like to invest a lot in our students, and we hope that we provide them with a very good experience. In terms of the teaching excellence I was referring to, then we're TEF Silver. We've been awarded TEF Silver. And in terms of our contact hours, then we really do play on this, and we provide a lot of contact hours, particularly in the first year. We transition towards the 3rd year by cutting them slightly, but the point there is to develop autonomy in learning. We really do what we call scaffolding in terms of students' learning. We're also nationally acclaimed for our teaching, and most of our research is now classed as world leading or internationally excellent. Law is going into the research evaluation framework exercise this year, and we're looking forward to getting a really good score as a result of it. Allied to that, then, our employability and skills is second to none as far as I'm concerned. I'm going to just focus on one statistic here, that 100% of our LLB students were in employment or further study 6 months after graduation. This is taken from the Delhi data. This is the graduate outcomes data from 2017 and 2018. These were the last time that this was taken, which is why we're still using it. But this is an amazing figure so far as we're concerned. Taken as a whole across the sector, then we have good professional prospects. Our graduates generally end up in professional jobs, what are qualified by those metrics. And what we found is that our local employers particularly like the graduate skill sets that we give them. So, you know, giving our students the ability to get skills is an important facet of the degree, and it's something that employers seem to appreciate. We've also got, as part of this, and I'll return to this a couple of times, an award-winning law clinic where students get the ability to get hands-on legal experience in real-life cases with proper clients and that sort of thing. We've got a good history of winning competitions and gaining awards within the clinic. And we've been lucky enough to find out in the last week or so that, again, we've been nominated twice in 2 categories for the awards in 2020. So hopefully, a little bit later on in the summer, we'll be able to report some good news in respect of that as well. Of course, doing a degree is not just about the teaching and learning in the classrooms. We like to encourage our students to become involved in competitions, like I said. We also like our students to be involved in the Students' Law Society, because the Law Society, the UPLS, sets up a whole series of internal competitions for its people to be involved in. It helps them, it's a social aspect, it helps them in terms of their developing their legal skills, and also in some circumstances it helps sort out networking opportunities. So for example, in the picture at the top here, we've got the annual cheese and wine evening that the UPLS put on. In doing that sort of thing, then it brings professionals and students together in a way that they can get work experience and get used to speaking to people in a professional environment. We run public lectures. We have the Pilgrim Fathers lecture where, for example, a couple of years ago we had Lady Justice Blackdown, and it's usually an appeal court or a Supreme Court judge that comes and gives the prestigious Pilgrim Fathers lecture in conjunction with the Plymouth Law Society. The series itself has been running in excess of 25 years now, and it's a big event in the Devon legal calendar. We also invite our students to take part in conferences as well. For example, unfortunately, it's going to be a virtual conference this year, but the UK Environmental Law Association conference is being hosted at Plymouth this year. Unfortunately, as I said, we've had to put some of the activities on ice, so as to speak, but the conference itself is still there, and it gives students the ability to network, to get informed, be near in professional dialogues and that sort of thing. And we think it's important to help their learning in that respect. Just a few examples of where our students have gone on and excelled. The Flux competition, which is all about business startups, a bit like Dragon's Den. They won the university competition, then they won also the national competition as well. We've done well in negotiations competitions. We've done well in terms of the UK Student Law Association's mooting competitions. And of late, we've done very well in securing bar scholarships. In last academic year, we were lucky enough to have 4 major bar scholarships awarded. So that was grants and fees paid for the students to be able to study in London and do that. And we've already had one confirmed this year. We expect a couple more, but we've already had one confirmed early this year. So we're doing well. We punch above our weight in this respect. I just wanted to return to the Law Clinic. Like I said, we've been nominated again in the categories of best contribution and the best student project, but we've won this in 2018, we've won again in 2019, and we won again in 2019. So we have a good basis to the way that this works. We have a good history in it, and it reflects the dedication of our staff and the input of our students into this sort of thing. I'm going to have a film. I'm going to suggest to you that you click on and have a look at the film for the Law Clinic a little bit further on, as a sort of segue in between the two parts that I'm going to talk to. So have a look at the film. Have a look at the clips in respect of the Law Clinic to form an idea about that. In the meantime, keep in touch. If you need to get hold of us at any point, then there are contact details on our webpage to do that. I would welcome you getting in touch at any point at all. So thank you very much indeed again for logging in, and I'll see you again shortly in respect of talking about the programme. Thank you.
Going into the clinic, I always knew that not all lessons could be learned in the classroom, so I feel as though the clinic provides transferable skills and that it bridges the gaps between what you learn in lecture and also applying that within the context of a working environment in the real world.
We have to work with members of the group that's also doing the clinic, so it's a lot of teamwork, so that's really important, communication skills, so we learn all of that throughout the process of working in the clinic.
Having worked in a law firm, I've really been able to gain an understanding of what the legal profession is like and the qualities that a lawyer may need. So things like being able to communicate effectively through stakeholder management, so understanding the different levels of information that are required for a client compared to a colleague.
I feel I've learned more practical skills, which you wouldn't get from a classroom, and because we mostly do in a law degree, it's all academic, I feel like I've got more practical skills that I can apply throughout my career. I think in the wider community we're involved with a lot of other organisations, things like PDAS, and being able to work with them and get referrals from them is something that we'd be expected to know how to do when we go into legal practice. The law clinics, I think for a lot of people going to see a solicitor or barrister is quite stressful. it's a hard process. So if you go and see a free service, it takes the pressure away. I feel like it takes the stigma away behind what a lawyer is.
People don't always have access to legal aid itself, so the free service that we offer here is fantastic for the wider public.
Because we're students, sometimes it's easier to talk to us and it helps them just as much as it helps us.
I was very nervous when I started university. I don't think I was very good at talking to people, and I feel now I can do it professionally, I can be appropriate, and I can conduct myself properly.
I'm considering doing a PGCE after I finish uni, something I wouldn't have necessarily considered in the first place when I started university as a whole. So it's really broadened my career path.
I think with university nowadays you always want to do something extra, whether it might not be sports, it might not be a society, but getting involved in something else that gives you the skills when you leave university is just really important.
I feel the clinic will be the reason for my future career. I feel that I've gained so many invaluable transferable skills. I feel with family law specifically that I've been studying, I can now deal with more emotional issues. I feel like I've got more empathy for people. If I go for interviews, I can talk to people about these things, and I feel confident to do so.
Hello again. Welcome back, and I just wanted to now share with you the structure of the programme and the details that go with that. The programmes at Plymouth are quite straightforward really, but they're designed to offer as much flexibility for your learning experience as you want to get out of it, whilst at the same time also preparing you professionally for those exemptions as qualifying law degrees. So without further ado, I'll take you through those and explain the pertinent points to them. So first of all, it's about what you'll study in each semester. So the university is semesterized. We have 2 semesters, one beginning at the end of September and running through to the end of January, and one starting in February and running through to the end of, or to mid-May. You're required to take 3 modules in each of those semesters, and in the first year, and primarily in the second year, then the focus is on the foundational knowledge subjects, so those foundations of legal knowledge that are required by the professional bodies, and then also some legal skills as well. I mentioned before that our degree is well regarded by the legal profession in terms of the fact that we do inbuild a lot of skills into it. Then there are routes that are available throughout the degree, which become evident in terms of the choices that you can make from the second semester of the second year and then into the third year in relation to the potential career path that you might want to take. Now, as it says, there's absolutely no need to decide this up front. You don't need to think, right, I'm definitely going to be a solicitor and I'm going to stay on this route and not deviate. You can do that, but you don't have to. It's flexible. It allows people to move around and do the things that they think that they might want to do, with also the flexibility to change it too. So the 3 routes, loosely speaking, are the SQE route that combines the foundations of legal knowledge with options that are quite heavy on procedure, which is what the SQE qualification is going to be all about. It also then enables you to do all of the foundations of legal knowledge that are required by the bar, so that you can go away and be a barrister if that's what you'd like to do. And then otherwise, if you decide that you don't want to be a lawyer, or if you decide that there are other options you want to do alongside the FLKs or the procedural options, then that's open to you too. So on the next slide, I'm just going to show you a structure of what the program looks like, and you'll see this explained more fully as a result of that. So as you see, first year, semester 1, 3 subjects that are undertaken there. There's obviously an entry-level legal systems and skills thing. This is usually the module that brings people up to speed. If they've not done A-level law, or if they have done A-level law, by the end of it, they're all on the same page, there or thereabouts. Alongside that, then there's a substantive subject, it's contract law, and then something that looks at human rights issues and contemporary legal issues. So it's a bit more contextual, that sort of thing, but it's all about developing the legal skills, the legal appreciation that you need going forward. In the second semester, ethics and legal reasoning, or if a person has decided that they want to do the law and criminal justice degree, then they would be doing a module which is called responses to crime. Otherwise, then there are 2 other subjects. You have no choice, you must do these. These are foundations of legal knowledge, public law and tort law. All the way through, we have what's called the Graduate Employability and Achievement Record, GEAR. So there's GEAR 1, GEAR 2 and GEAR 3. And what that is about building competencies, about professional development and that sort of thing to help you on your journey through the education process and then also the careers process at the end of it. Into the second year, then again, the highlighted or the emboldened things are compulsory. So you must do dispute resolution skills, you must do criminal law, you must do property law. But you can see there's some more elective space, there's some more choices coming into it, into how you choose your degree experience at this point. I'll talk about the electives in a second, but you know they're as varied as commercial law and environmental law and cybercrime, that sort of thing, but you'll see in a sec. Then going into the third year, again, 2 semesters, it's now down to pretty much your choice what you want to do. So first of all, there's something that's 40 credits. It runs in both semesters, and that's either a dissertation or work-based learning. And work-based learning would be in the law clinic. You saw the clinic film earlier, and there's also other clinic resources for you to have a look at and engage with to see what it is that we do. And otherwise, then the rest of your final year is drawn from elective choice. So you can choose what it is that you want to do, depending on when that module is offered in which semester. So I'm just going to take you on to the electives now. So semester 1, these are criminal law and practice, trust and practice, environmental law, family law, human rights law, public international law, and work-based action research. Now, the ones that are asterisked are the ones that we would suggest that if you wanted to practice as a solicitor and you wanted to go the SQE route, then you might want to do those, because they will bring you some of the skills that the SQE will actually bring with it. So it brings the practice element of that, and also business law and practice in semester 2. The ones with the hashtag symbol are things that you have to do if you want to become a barrister. So you must do trusts and practice. It's one of the foundations of legal knowledge that the bar requires you have. And also you must continue to do European law. Bar has been insistent on continuing that as well. Otherwise, the choice is there. I'm not going to read through them all, but as you can see, they're many and varied. Obviously, environmental law is my particular subject matter, and I would always suggest that it gives you the broadest possible education. I would say that, wouldn't I? But it's great. Anyway, that's the electives. Moving on from there, then how do we deliver this? Well, usually, particularly for the FLK modules, then there'll be a large group session and a tutorial. So you will be in a lecture theatre with up to 120 other people, 130 other people maybe, and then you'll be in smaller groups as well, so between 25 and 30 for tutorials, workshops, practical sessions, that sort of thing. It gives you the ability then to interrogate the subject further, gives you the ability to have a conversation with your lecturers about issues that you understand or don't in respect to the subject, and this is where we work on our skills with you. Work-based learning is very much a case that it's practically driven and overseen by qualified members of staff. And the majority of our teaching is done within 2-hour block sessions. So it would be a 2-hour lecture, 2-hour tutorial. For the elective modules, then most of them will run 2-2-hour blocks, and they will either be lectures, tutorials, or some sort of amalgam of the 2 types of things, depending on what happens. On my module, for example, on environmental law, I will have people in to talk sometimes. I will have sessions that are completely dedicated to, say, skills like problem solving, or I might talk at you for a while about a particular thing, just to get that knowledge over. Generally, we like to think that we're very interactive in the way that we deliver. We're also particularly student focused, so it's about understanding your needs and about responding to those. For other areas, particularly say with work-based learning and also in terms of a dissertation, then sometimes there will be individual supervision. So you'll work closely with a particular member of staff and deal with it on that basis. And then also, and particularly as you get through the stages of the degree, then we would expect you to do private study and research of your own. We would expect you to do some sort of practice in terms of the competences we're requiring you to have. And we would expect you to become more autonomous in your learning as you go through. But that's not to say that you're not being supported fully. We have a complete range of assessments in terms of how we do things. We have coursework and exams. The examinations are probably around about a third, maybe a little bit less than a third of the modules that we have on the programme. Coursework takes all sorts of different ideas. So it could be reflective projects, it could be long pieces of writing like a dissertation, it could be essays, it could be a problem solving thing. And then we go down to things like practical exercises, group projects, presentations, those sorts of things as well. It's all part of the rich tapestry of assessment that you will encounter at some point or another. And you know, all of it is about developing particular competencies in particular ways. You're not alone in this. We have great student support mechanisms. For example, as a personal, you come here, you will get a personal tutor assigned to you in induction week, and that personal tutor will stay with you for the 3 years that you're with us. The personal tutor will look after pastoral matters, will also help you in career planning and help you with the gear thing that I mentioned earlier on. Your subject tutors are all experts in what they do. Most of us publish, most of us are actively engaged in research in the subject matter, and so you're being well looked after in that respect. We have great online resources through our distance learning environment where a lot of your material will be provided to you. Our library is great and has fantastic access to all of the legal databases. We have what's called a peer-assisted learning scheme, so you can get help from your peers. They probably have experienced the thing that you're going through, and so they'll be able to help with it. We also have a writing cafe that's staffed by Royal Writing Fellows, and they can help you improve your work. We send quite a lot of our students there because legal writing is a particular skill, and they do improve our students' writing considerably. So it's really worth doing. We have a learning development service as well, which can assist on all manner of essay writing, referencing, problem solving type tips and skills alongside what you would get from your module tutors. And then if people are suffering from any form of disability, then we have a disability assist service, which can be useful in terms of people's ability to have modified examination provisions and that sort of thing. So essentially, there's a whole suite of services that are available to support your learning and to enable you to get the best from it. Finally, careers. We have an extensive careers service provision within the university, but within the school as well. And so our career service run bespoke workshops for law students. We have a dedicated careers advisor that knows about the subject, that knows about the career pathways that might come from it. We bring in alumni, so you may have seen some of our open day provision that our ex-students like us, they stay in touch with us, they tell us about their great things that they happen to be up to, and they come and give us talks. The professionals also come and give us talks as well. Legal professionals come in and do that. We've got fantastic links to local employers. We're quite a captive market in terms of our law firms. They love the university and they engage with it quite well. And we do a series of networking events, whether those be professional through the university itself, or whether those be more socially focused through things like the University of Plymouth Law Society. And also, some of our staff members are still practicing lawyers or still hold practicing certificates at least, and they can provide advice and careers advice ongoing for our students. So that's pretty much the provision as it stands. In terms of work-based learning and volunteering, then I just would re-emphasize the clinic. You've seen the material in relation to it. This is what the clinic can offer. It's unique in terms of the breadth of its offer and also the extent to which you would be involved in real client work. So overall, I hope that's given you some insight into what the programs are like at Plymouth, how they can be useful and interesting to you. And if you have any issues or any questions at all that you want to put to me or the programme team, then we have a question and answer session that's arranged for you to be able to do so. Very much hope to see you there. Thank you very much for your time, and again, please do keep in touch. Thank you very much.